How's it go? All right, good morning, gang. Welcome back to the channel. And today is day 5 of our American Cancer Society rides. I took a day off to do an actual recovery, do a little weight training, and to let my bee sting go away. Boy, that hurt. It bothered me for the next 24 hours. But the swelling's gone down from it. It's still a little tender, but I can live with it. It is right above my eye, right at the eyebrow. Morning. All right, so today's ride, I did something a little bit different. I rode on down to the beach, caught the sunrise at the beach. We're still catching the sunrise at the beach, but we're gonna enjoy the journey and head on into the state park now. So I think the goal is going to be, and as much as I hate it, I think I'm going to ride the beach mouse bypass. I think I'm going to ride it. Back to Rosemary Dune. Take Rosemary Dune all the way back to the, I guess, Cotton Bayou, then take Cotton Bayou, or I'll just take Rosemary Dune all the way back to Catman all the way back. Then jump on 161 and head up to Rattlesnake to Gulf Oak Ridge, and then we'll take the back way out around the golf course and probably do what I did on the last run, and that's go down Fort Morgan a little bit and see how many miles we can cook out today. We're, I think 207 to go. I think we're sitting on 92 miles at this point. So that's not good. Sitting here wondering why my bike is taking off on me, and somehow I clicked it into boost mode. I was like, man, 7th gear in pedal assist 1 really is zooming today. Now I can tell the difference. That's not good because that eats up battery. Boost isn't necessarily as bad as throttle, but it's pretty bad. See the fishing pier there as we enter into the park. Early morning, just after 6 a.m. I left out at 5:30ish, and it was pitch black, so I didn't record any of that. Morning. How y'all doing? I did this run the other day when I rode West Beach and stopped at Gulf Place, and then my camera died. So this is the path I took from Gulf Place back into the state park. So we're doing a little bit of that ride. It didn't get filmed last week or earlier this week. I guess that was what? Sunday? Monday? Monday? Just like going down West Beach, this is just a constant cadence you have to keep. So it does a good job of pushing the heart rate up. There's the bridge I cross a lot of times. Going over Lake Shelby. Instead of crossing at the light, I'm gonna go ahead and cross here. There's no traffic behind me, no traffic coming. I can go ahead and get on this side of the road for my turn in. A bunch of turtle volunteers. And I'm gonna cross the bridge on this side of the road so I can jump into the state park. All right. I think this is like Canal Trail or something. I forget the names of some of these. All right, so we'll take a ride up through here. Enjoy the flowers and make our way to the rickety bridge of death. No, I'm just kidding. Funny story about this waterway. When I was a kid, my sister and I, we would swim in this lake here in the campgrounds. And one afternoon, we were here with our folks camping and having a little swim. And my dad came walking down to the waterway, insisting that we get out of the water right now. Not a panic thing, but more of a assertive get out of the water type thing. Like you almost felt like you'd done something wrong. But we as kids were, oh, come on, Dad, can we have 5 more minutes in the water? No, get out of the water now. And again, not like a panic thing, just more of a dad asserting his dominance and telling you to get out of the water. And so we got out of the water. I hadn't been out of the water 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Long enough to grab a towel, start driving off. And look back in the water. And here comes this alligator swimming by. And I don't know how Pop saw that thing or where he saw that thing, but instead of being like all, get out of the water, there's an alligator coming, and freaking the kids out, he just kind of went, get out of the water now, And again, it was one of those situations where you look back on it and think, we didn't know what was going on. He did. Oh, let's stop and just enjoy the scenery for a second. I don't do this often enough. We probably would have been right over there camping. Over in one of this section over here wasn't here when I was a kid. But we would have been on this side of the camp store, camping in one of these spots here. And Mr. Gator just came swimming by from the east to the west. You remember it vividly. And then you've got the swim pavilion over here. Used to be cabins over here on this side of the road. back when we were young. I think Frederick took those out back in the 70s, but there used to be cabins over here that you could stay in. No longer. It's nice they got a walkway where you can bike all the way over there. Back in the day, if you wanted to go to the swim pavilion, you had to load the car up, take the kids over there, drop them off, spend the day there, load all the floats back up, go back home. We swam in the lake over here mostly. If we was going to the beach, it was going to fish. Or fly kites. We did a lot of kite flying as kids. That's something you really don't see anymore. You don't see a lot of people out with their kids flying kites. When I was growing up, that was a thing. That was like a big thing, and we had all kinds of different kites, all different shapes, sizes that we would experiment with. Got to the point where we figured out that hooking it to a fishing pole was the greatest thing on earth. You had so much more control over it with the fishing pole. Good times. So today's ride, of course, being in the state park, not as much as a workout as it is just a ride to catch some miles. I looked at the odometer on the bike. I can't believe how many miles I've put on this thing in 2.5 months, almost 3 months. I think I'm going to take it to the dealership sometime next week. See about getting just a 1,000-mile service done on it, you know? I'm sure that seems kind of crazy for a new bike, but I'm probably stressing this bike out more than the average rider would. And I've probably wore out, I'll probably go through brake pads faster than your average person would too, you know? So it wouldn't be bad for me to take it in, get it serviced professionally, see what they do with it, take notes, and so in the future I can do it myself. I haven't messed with bikes in a very long time, since I was a teenager. So, what lubricants to use in certain areas of the bike, what you should do. I'm not real up on that. Is there a particular bike grease you use on axles? Do you use white lithium in the cranks? That kind of stuff I don't know. Is there a specific type of brake pad I need to use? Do you need to bleed the brakes when you do the brake pads? That wasn't that painful today. Seems like this route gets a little shorter every time I ride it. I think the first time I rode it, I didn't think it was ever going to end. All right, I need to take a quick little break to make a couple of adjustments on the bike, and I'll be right back. Get better positioned on the seat. All right, I think I'm all right now. I think I'm good. About 8 miles into the ride now, 4 since we started the video. Oh, it is another lovely day out here. It's just cool enough that where as you ride into the breeze, you feel cool, almost chilly. A wonderful time to ride. So we're riding back into Orange Beach. Tuesday, they were supposed to do the second reading on their e-bike laws. And I don't know everything that went on. Well, I don't know a whole lot of what went on, other than the fact it seems like they tabled discussion on it until next month. So the law didn't get voted on. I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but I don't know if it's pushback from the community or what's going on with that. I did see like a clip of someone making a statement about putting laws on kids having fun. Dude. I like the idea of putting laws on kids not dying. There's too much of that happening. So we'll keep an eye on that, see what happens with it. This is one of those situations where I wish the federal government would just step in and make a blanket federal law that is a well thought out law. that is a better thinking on this stupid 3-class system. There's too many gray areas in this 3-class system. You know, like class 1, pedal to 20 miles an hour. And class 2 is the same thing as 1, except you have a throttle. What's the difference? It's 20 miles an hour. 20 is 20. And there's nothing said in there, hey bud, there's nothing in the rules. All right, so you say a throttle, but you don't say anything about cadence sensors. And cadence sensors are nothing more than a foot throttle, so explain that one. And then 28 miles an hour on pedal assist, but not on a throttle. Well, if the manufacturer put a throttle on the bike, guess what? They're going to set up the software so you can take it to 28 miles an hour. And again, what's the difference? There's no restrictions on cruise control. So what's to say I don't pedal up to 24 miles an hour and then enable cruise control on my bike? That's not throttle, that's cruise control. Didn't say anything about that. Well, that is a throttle. Technically, it's not. It's cruise control. And then you have the whole thing with bikes that, 750 watt motors, which I saw a ridiculous discussion the other day about. They had made an advert out of this extremely large woman trying to ride a bicycle. And they were basically using her size and saying that restrictions on motor power is fat shaming because 750 watt motors basically eliminated the ability for fat people to ride bicycles. Which I found insulting, number one. Number two, ridiculous, because I'm here to tell you that I can ride a bike at my size with a 750 watt motor, and I've yet to find a place that I can't ride up using the motor and the gears and the assist. In the beginning, I will say this, when I first got the bike and I first encountered a steep hill, I tried to ride it like I would normally ride a bike, and I just downshifted my gears and tried to pedal, and that was not enough because I was still in eco mode and there wasn't much power going to the motor. So when I learned better how to ride my bike, and I'm just gonna stay on Catman. When I learned a little bit better how to ride the bike, I got into the habit of changing the motor from eco mode to boost mode, or turbo on some bikes. And that gave me more power to the motor, as well as shifted down my gears, and I can climb most hills that I need to climb. I haven't found one yet I can't. I found one that I'm tempted to climb, but I'm not sure if I want to. But, you know, their whole argument, oh, you need these big beefy motors to push fat people around. It's just not true. And if a fat person's riding a bike, they really should be riding it they should want to use the pedals to help them lose weight and slim down. It's my whole purpose. I'm getting the added benefit of being able to get around and see some different things that I haven't seen in years. And that's the bonus. But the fitness comes first. If you're just jumping on the bike and hitting the throttle and never pedaling, then buy a scooter. Or buy one of the bigger bikes and be willing to spend the money for insurance and all that other stuff, because you're basically buying a motorcycle. Good morning. Good morning. Oh. But I will say this, there is this gray area. Let's say you're buying a cargo bike, right? You're one of these folks who lives in a metropolitan area and you're buying one of these bikes that's designed to be a cargo bike. Good morning. And you're using it to go to the grocery store, run errands, whatever you might do. And a lot of those have bigger motors on them. They'll have 1,000-watt motors or bigger, because they're designed to haul the mail, right? Do those need to be restricted because they have a bigger motor on them? That one I don't know. Depends on, I guess, the speed of them, really. And to me, it comes down to speed limits. If the bike is limited to 20 miles an hour, which seems to be where a lot of people are going, is 20, not 15 like the Europeans are, but 20 miles an hour seems to be the cutoff a lot of people are willing to go with. If it's a cargo and is limited to 20, should it be classified different? Maybe it should. Maybe it should be in its own category. I don't know. The whole thing needs to be really re-looked at. Stop referring to things that are made like a motorcycle as a bike. Maybe you make a classification of industrial bikes for cargo bikes. And if they're being used for recreational purposes, or your personal grocery getter, maybe it doesn't have to have as many restrictions on it, but if you're using it for commercial, maybe it needs to be restricted then. I noticed there's a couple of restaurants in my area that are utilizing guys on e-bikes to do delivery service in the evenings. So it's only a matter of time before somebody says something about that. All right, Catman Trailhead. I'm gonna stop for a second, have a swig of water, and then I'll be back at it. All right, that wasn't a very long stop. I used it as an opportunity to clear the fog off of my sunglasses. I'm trying to hit a button on the back of my helmet, turn the battery charger on for my camera, but for some reason I can't hit it. So I'm going to end up having to stop once again to address that before we head up this little stint here at Rattlesnake. Let me see if I can get this. Let me check. Looks like it's on. Never mind. So I got a new mic yesterday. Today's the first day of trying it out. I'd been using DJI Mini, and I like that, but I want the ability to have, so one of the things I ran into with this camera shoots 10-bit, and the files are pretty big. It makes 16 gigabit files and splits them up. And an hour and a half ride for me can be 4 or 5 files. And one thing I've run into is, so I'm using the mic on recording onto the video, and since that's linked up via Bluetooth, there's like a 2 millisecond delay or so between the audio and the video. And that's not a problem except for when you're putting the whole thing together in post and, you know, stitching all the clips together. The recording, the video is seamless, but the audio is leaving these little short gaps where the Bluetooth isn't in sync with the video, so when the file gets to 16 gig, it just splits the video onto a new file. But it doesn't do a good job of matching the audio. The tail end of the audio, when the logic in the camera says, okay, I need to stop recording the video here and start a new file, it does that fine. but it stops the audio, and you have a small little dead space gap of audio before the next audio file starts. And so every once in a while in my videos that I've been shooting with the new camera, you'll hear a little, or a little digital noise or artifact or whatever that sounds like something went wrong, like a hard splice or whatever. It's just simply there's no audio there for like a millisecond. And there's no way for me to fix that because it's something that is happening with the camera. So I decided I would buy a second a second microphone, one that is got internal storage on it, so that I could record the audio separate from the video and then just mate those up in my video editing software. So, and I've been wanting to get a second microphone anyways, because I've toyed with the idea of having my audio and a separate audio of just the ambient noise going on, and then being able to put a noise gate on my audio and have the ambient noise in the background. And that way I could get rid of all the breathing. But I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see about it. But anyway, so I'm rolling with 2 microphones today, and I put one of them on the back of the camera, and I couldn't see the power light because of that. And I thought the power light was out. And I don't want to lose half of my recording because I didn't have power going to the camera. Anyways, so this is the first journey out with the second microphone. I'm doing some testing to see how it's going to work out. I should have 3 sources of audio when I'm done with this. I should have the Mic Mini, and I should have the DJI Mic 3, and then the DJI Mic 3 also has an internal storage that I should have that stored file as well. So I should have a total of 3, possibly 4 streams of audio that I can mess with. And if it works out the way I think it will, I should be able to take and put the Mic Mini somewhere on the bike, like in the back behind me. I noticed when I had the 360 camera behind me the other day, the 360 camera didn't pick me up talking, because I guess I was, projecting forward, and it was back on the back of the bike far enough away where it wasn't picking me up, which was pretty nice. So if I take and put the Mic Mini on the back fender, or on my back of my bag on the back of my bike, clip it in there, then I should be able to get ride noise with very little of me being picked up by the mic. And I'll just adjust the sensitivity to where it's not really super sensitive. So it'll pick up road noise and birds and stuff like that, but it won't pick me up. And if it does, it'll be low enough down where it shouldn't cause phase issues. And then I can use the Mic 3's audio as my main source of audio and then I can adjust it to where it's got a little bit of a noise gate on it. Or I may have to do the opposite. I might have to use the Mic Mini as my main mic, and then use the Mic 3 I might have to use it to record the ambiance because that's got the internal file on it. I don't know, I'll figure it all out. I have the Mic 3 seems to have some better noise cancellation on it, and I've got it set to like a low setting of noise cancellation. I need to mess around with it, because if I set the noise cancellation down, it might eliminate some of the breathing and everything, and then I might be able to use it. I might be able to use it as my main track and only need one microphone. You never know. It's one of those things that until I get and mess around with it and test it, I won't know what I can do with it. There's one of those hills you gotta climb in here. Not an issue. I thought about riding up into the Sportsplex for a little bit, but then I remembered today's first day of school. There'll be a lot of kids and parents up there today. Might want to avoid that area. Lights are on. Slow up through here. I don't know if I'm gonna meet up with somebody in here. That climb right there, it's gradual, but you don't really realize you're getting into it that much. I started falling down on my face. Had to put some more leg into it. Bunny rabbit. Just sitting here thinking about where I want to take my break at. Since I'm not going by the lake today. Here's we can ride up to the overlook up here and stop at it. I stop a lot of times at this swing. I was thinking about it. Maybe we go somewhere different this time. See what you can see from that overlook. Probably nothing. All right. So many rabbits. Not a lot of traffic out here today. I like it this way, but surprising. Wrong button. Starting to hit some pockets of humidity now. It's like you're riding by somebody's dryer vent. All right, there's our little observation post or lookout. Where we had our little water moccasin encounter the other day. All right, I'll take a quick break, give you guys some video to look at, and then we'll continue on. Not a bad view up here. All right. Back on Longleaf. Headed towards the exit for us. Just about a good time. My left knee just started acting up on me. Which is about right, because I didn't take any pain pills this morning. as I stated the other day, a lot of times I'll front load a couple of pain relievers like aspirin before I start the ride, just to help with those morning aches and pains that I get first waking up, as well as to offset anything that might show up in the ride. Morning. I'm gonna go a different way today. Instead of going up Coyote, I'm gonna stay on Longleaf. Just ride it. The entrance to the cabins there. So many different ways you can go through the park. It's nice. This is one section where I feel like I can ride on the road and don't have to worry about getting run over. There we go. All right, I'm gonna jump and go down Coyote. And then we'll ride up to the Eco Center. Morning. So I did a little more looking into this Eco Center. Apparently it's tied in with the Learning Center here at Gulf State Park. And they have classes and stuff that are taught here on certain days. Part of it is like sustainable farming and things like that. So it's tied in with all of that. The Learning Center is more up here behind the state headquarters. But apparently some of the stuff they do is done down there as well. Seems like they do stuff all over the park, not there consistently. I think once school starts in, I'm going to try to avoid this area. But we're also going to get into after we get through August, we'll start cooling off a little bit and be able to do rides in the afternoon again. Morning. So this area here is being done in a horse trade with the state park. The city is trading some city land closer down towards the beach with the state park in order to acquire that land so they can take Dolphin Way straight on out behind this neighborhood and have it go all the way out around the neighborhood and then tie into Canal. So this whole area up here gets bypassed around where they're building this pedestrian bridge to nowhere. So spending a lot of money on a pedestrian bridge that is not really going to benefit anybody. And then they decided, hey, let's up the ante. Let's put lights on it so we can make it change colors and change lighting on it every day. Yay. And then I read something the other day where there was the architecture firm that designed the bridge messed up on something, and now they had to hire another firm to come in and redo the calculations, and it's going to cost now an astonishing amount of money. Like, hey, way to go. All right, once again, we got to jump over here to this side so that when we get up here to the traffic light, we can push a button to let us across the intersection, because we don't get picked up by the pressure plate. I'm fat, but not that fat. And then we have to duck right back across because this little system here didn't get put on the other side. So now I can jump right back over to the other side of the street, continue my route home. And I've pointed this out before, but for those new to the channel, they built this sidewalk but didn't build a crossing there for the sidewalk to go from one side of the street to the other. It's just, you just kind of wonder, like, who comes up with all this stuff? Here's the bridge to nowhere. Pedestrian bridge. You're going to build a pedestrian bridge that goes from one side of the canal to the other, right? Not that many people ever cross the bridge. It's a pipe dream of connecting this side of Waterway Village to the Lulu's side of Waterway Village, and probably was heavily lobbied by Lulu's in order to get them more traffic over on this side, or more parking over on this side, right? Without having to put more parking in over on that side. But, you know, the whole pipe dream of turning that into a Waterway Village over on the other side and connecting it with this one, I mean, people are going to drive over there. The number of fat people that come down here to vacation is astonishing, and there's not that many of them that are going to park on this side of the canal and waddle across the bridge in the heat of the summer to go to a restaurant on the other side. No, they're gonna drive over the regular bridge, and they're going to drive across the normal bridge to get to the other side, and then go park in a parking space and ride a bus or a golf cart up to the front door. They already do that. They'd have been better off to put a drawbridge across there. Then all the uppities with their golf carts that want to see the town turned into Key West, they all want golf carts now. The golf cart owners could ride their golf carts across the drawbridge. Unless there's one massive ass freight elevator going to be in that pedestrian bridge, golf carts ain't going to be able to use it. Golf carts can't use the 59 bridge, so they're going to have like a golf cart parking garage over on one side, and you can pull up right next to the bridge and step out of your golf cart and walk over to Lulu's. People complain about sharing the road with bikers. I'd much rather share the road with somebody riding a bike than somebody on a golf cart. Oh, my left knee is hurting. There will be no bonus time on this ride. I can tell you that now. It is screaming. In fact, I'm probably going to end up turning the pedal assist mode up just a little bit to help out with it. Just to make the pedaling a little easier, because it is tweaked right now. That's the nice thing about this bike. If I was riding a gravel bike or a road bike, some sort of traditional bike, and I was back here and my knee starts acting up, I still got to figure out how to get home. And with this one, I can either put the throttle down and get home that way, or I can set cruise control up and I can throw it into cadence mode and ghost pedal back. I mean, there's so many different ways I could get home with this bike and a bum knee. And I do like that. It makes life a bit more manageable on a bike. It gives me options and doesn't say, oh, well, you woke up this morning, you're a little bit sore, you can't ride today. Or, well, I'm scared to go ride today because my knee might start hurting me. I can take what I can get and be happy. And I'm still pedaling, I'm just using pedal assist 3 now instead of 1 or 2, just because it makes the pedaling easier, not as much resistance. I still have to pedal unless I choose to just go throttle only. I've been trying to stop at the stop signs, but today I'm rolling them. If there's a car in the area, I try to stop. Or a trash truck that doesn't see me and pay attention to me, like we had a couple of days ago. But certainly if I come up to an intersection and there's an approaching car and I'm coming up to the intersection, I'm going to come to a complete stop and obey the stop sign. Otherwise, I kind of like the old Idaho stop. Life is good. So I increased the pedal assist so that I'm not pushing as much resistance on the crank, and actually went up a gear, and the pain's going away a little bit, so that's good. But it still means this ride's cooked. I'm not going to try to push past the mileage that I've got, which the onboard computer says 19.2 since we started the video, because I cleared the trip log while I was at the beach, and it took me like 3.4 miles to get to the beach. So theoretically I'm looking at 22 miles by the time I get home, or by the time I get to the church. I shut everything off at the church. I have this thing about, since I'm sharing Strava data some, I just have this thing about maybe somebody's going to look at where I start my ride and where I end my ride and try to connect the dots. I had a stalker once in my life. It wasn't fun. I don't want to deal with it ever again. So I try to start my ride at the church, end my ride at the church. That's general enough. I really don't even have to ride all the way to the church with the video. I could stop the video here, which I think I might do. I'll post the Strava card so you guys can see what the total distance was once I got to the church. And we'll call this ride complete. Good morning. We did get a big donation in from one of my old friends from Nashville, which was awesome. So I will get my medal, but I also made a donation too, testing the system, because some family members were trying to donate and they couldn't, and they were having issues, so I made a donation as well. I had always planned on making a donation, but I was going to wait until the end. Possibly make up the difference of what the goal was that I had set forth, but I went ahead and made a donation as well. So I got a little bit of money coming in, which is cool. Anyways, I'm going to call the video here, and thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends, hit the notification button. You know what I'm talking about. It's YouTube after all. But thanks for watching. If you enjoy the rides, come back and join me for the next one. We should have about 23 miles on this, so that'll put us well over 100 miles. So we're a third of the way done, and not even done with the first week. That's awesome. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next ride. Bye-bye.